I'm Martin. I'm Australian. I'm living in Singapore. I've got we have a 4-week-old in 2 days' time. A young girl called Ela, and we're very proud parents.
I'm Abigail. I'm from Mexico. We lived in Singapore since 7 years ago. We had our baby Eva the past 12th of November 2018. I had a natural birth. Just go for it. When I had the first real contraction, I felt just electricity in my body, and then I thought, okay, yeah, this is starting. And so I said to Martin, and I allowed him to sleep for the next 2 hours. And I've been having contractions by myself, but I was very calm. I went to the bathroom and just to let the fluids flow.
That's what they do.
Yeah, and I called my mom, I called my sister. I even texted one of my partners in France to tell him, like, I think I'm getting into labor. I don't think that we can talk tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's important though, because you weren't calling them out of panic. It was just because you were awake and you wanted something to do, and they're on the other side of the world, so the timing was right. But there was no panic, and that was important to the whole process.
I was very calm till I had a very strong contraction, and then and there I did kind of say, like, you wake up.
Yeah, my turn.
Because I started to feel I was not in panic. I was just in pain, and I started to feel I need to call Eve. I need really to get moving. But inside my head as well, I was thinking, for sure I'm 3 centimeters dilated.
Maybe
just,
Tuesday we'll have a baby.
Maybe. Yeah, I was thinking maybe Tuesday I'm going to have a baby. So I didn't thought that would be quick or anything like that. We were totally chill, and we were in bed, and I was just wanting to look into your eyes when I was having the contractions. Till
I had to keep them open.
Till I broke waters, and we were talking with Eve at that stage, and she told us to just go into the hospital. We have a house of 3 stories, kind of a terrace house, so we needed to go down the stairs with constructions and everything.
She laughs now.
Yeah, now we laugh. Yeah.
That was so hard.
So we needed to come down, we needed to call the taxi. We ended up with no wallet, no shoes. Just going like that. I hit Martin in the head with one of the chairs because I feel the need to squat and to push, so I grabbed the chair and hit him. It was totally unintentional.
She said.
No. We went into a taxi. The taxi driver was very kind. Once we get into the hospital, Eve was there just waiting for me, so that one was very comforting to know that someone was there waiting for us and calling the nurses, calling the doctor. So it was just paying the taxi, taking a lot of weight off our shoulders. And then, once we got there, I was 10 centimeters dilated, so there were nothing to do. The only thing that happened is that, I needed to push. It didn't end up, I was imagining that I will give birth in squats or stand up is what I was planning, but things went so fast that I really haven't even had time to shift myself. It was
So what is that?
Shift.
Oh, shit.
I didn't have time
you
to
had
shift.
time to shit yourself.
I shit myself.
We did that. That was good.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
That we shared.
But that one was fine. I mean, that's what we prepared. We knew that blood and
Shit.
poo and pee and
Screaming.
fluids and the screaming and everything will happen. So I just pushed 3 times, and during the birth, I think when I got into the hospital, I did probably then and there is where I felt like, oh no, this is too sanitized. I didn't like one of the nurses. I would have preferred, I think, to be at home or somewhere else.
She was correcting and scolding the nurses too.
Yeah. I did say, please be lovely, I am Mexican. And, because she was a little bit rude.
She wasn't. She just wasn't lovely.
She correct. And so there were a moment that I did feel like, oh no, I cannot make this, because there's a point in which it just becomes very painful, and because it's the first time that it's happening, you really don't know how more painful it's going to be. But I think that was the kind of the highlights of pain, and that I didn't knew what would happen, and the doctor wasn't there, so I had a minute of doubt, or probably it was just 2 seconds of doubt. But then, because Martin was with me, holding me from the back, and Eve was in my hand, looking at me like, no, yes, you can, having certain reassurance from someone that is not medical staff, just telling me like, no, yes, you can, I know what you're feeling, and we're doing this together, so you just need to push and concentrate and focus, and there you go. So it was having two persons that were totally in my side was super comforting, and just kind of pushing me to, okay, no, I need to make this happen. Yes, I can, and then just 3 pushes more, and Eva was out. So it was quite easy. It didn't become more painful. It didn't. It was not something
well,
I couldn't.
but after the birth, the most pain you've experienced is after the birth. Right?
Oh, well, yeah, because I was shaking and with all.
No, I'm talking about just the feeding and the process of.
Yeah.
She said to me on numerous occasions, if I could give birth again twice and avoid this, I would.
But as well, one of the things that I found really beautiful of having no interventions in the giving birth was to see my baby coming out totally awake. And I did put in the birth plan that I wanted to wait sometimes so she could be in my tummy and then crawl into my chest. And for me it was just amazing to see how such a little thing that have never met me or just kind of came out, and it's just a puppy. It's just have the instinct. The fact that she crawls into me and she attaches into my boob and she's totally awake was really, really amazing. Because I knew that she was fine. That was worth it, all the pain, and because she was totally fine and she's totally alive. I did hear it before, and one of the motivations not to have epidural was that I saw in one of the breastfeeding classes I studied where babies can come out a little bit sleepy and not so active, so I really wanted to bring her totally awake. And yeah, it comes, and it was beautiful just to see how this thing of 3 kilos, she was able to crawl all the way up, and just her first survival skills, just to attach into my breast was just beautiful. It was really, really amazing. So that was totally worth it. And it wasn't that painful. It's not something that you couldn't manage. I do believe that we are built for it. You don't faint, you don't, nothing will happen. It's just a baby is coming out, and it's a baby that is fully awake. So it's just, literally I just needed to believe in myself. But it took a lot of work to get into that point, to truly believe in myself.
It was interesting. Abby had very little recollection of anything before we got to the hospital. So I had to, after a couple of days later or a day later, Abby was asking questions about how we got down the stairs. You know, how did we get into the taxi? Why did the taxi take so long? You know, all these sorts of things. And of course, all of that stuff was burnt into my brain, and it will never leave, right? Because it got very busy very quickly. And I think, you know, just to give some context on why we were so relaxed is, you know, it's the first baby, right? And they're supposed to be late, and it's supposed to take a long time. That's what all of our friends have experienced with the first baby. And so when Abby woke me up at 10 to 1 on Monday morning, I thought, and we discussed probably Tuesday, might have a baby by then. So I rolled over and went to sleep. And then obviously at 3:30 things got moving, and we spoke to Eve, and away it went. So it was, and then it was, you know, we were literally in the hospital for 40 minutes when the baby was born. So there was no time for any intervention anyway. So yeah, I mean, I say to some people that I timed it to perfection. Abby knows that we almost had the baby on the dining room floor. So does Eve, for that matter. So yeah, the timing, if we had our time again, we probably wouldn't do it any different, but I think we would be a little bit more aware of the timings.
Yeah, I mean, we were very relaxed.
Very relaxed, which I think is good.
Yeah.
But you know, there were some moments in the taxi where I was sure I could see a head coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so and that's not ideal. But Abby was just amazing. It was an amazing experience. I loved, you know, being involved and seeing it all happen, and seeing what 9 months of both hormone and psychotherapy can do in terms of her just being able to do it all on her own. Was amazing to watch. And then of course you've got a person in your life all of a sudden that's fantastic.
But you need to keep open to the options, and it doesn't matter how hippie can sound or how irrational can sound, or because not everything in pregnancy is in kind of giving birth is about science. Of course, there's a lot of science about it, but there's a lot of feelings and a lot of fears. So I think as long as you deal with your fears and that you put the work, it doesn't matter what happened during the birth, you are prepared for it. And but of course, you need to put a lot of work. You need to take care of your weight. You need to do exercise. You need to have a great team with you. You need to believe in your doctor. If you don't believe in your doctor, if there's something slightly that you don't like about him or her, just better change it and go with someone that is really going to listen to you. To have a team of people around you that is going to support you, whether it's your sister or a doula or your mother or someone that you know that is not going to judge you, that is not going to point at you, that is just going to give you love and support you. And then as the couple, so the great thing of having a doula was that we had someone that was totally in our side, not only in my side, it was in the side of both of us. And yes, and that once you put the work, you can just have a natural birth, and it's not something that is going to break you, and it's just wonderful. It's very empowering. It's really easy. I just cannot believe that it was how easy it was. And if you don't allow yourself to be controlled by the fear, how far you can go. I mean, it was just amazing to see myself going through it. Well, in the beginning of my pregnancy, I thought, no, I cannot make it because I might have an arrhythmia, or I might have a heart condition, or I might blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, nothing happened. Just, I had the baby, I had excellent team beside me, and then it was just great. And that process gave us a lot of bonding. When Eva came and with all the challenges that you need to face afterwards, the fact that we were spending time by ourselves at night doing the spinning exercises, at the end you realize how much work as well you put as a couple. And when baby comes out and everything is just, we are not sleeping, and that part of communication that you open during the pregnancy, keep open during the first, during all the process of parenthood. So because we've been open during pregnancy, now we are very open about the days that I feel very low, or that I feel like, oh my god, I'm losing my shit, that I'm not sleeping. So it's quite easy now to talk about difficult stuff. So yeah, that would be, I think, the advice that the work with the couple is just having a team is for me the most important.
My message, especially I think to the men, is, or to the husbands or fathers, that's what we're under, fathers.
Or mothers, you don't really know.
Well, that's true. To the person not giving birth, no. The birth is just the beginning. and you've got to build a relationship with the person giving birth in the manner in which you want it to continue afterwards, because the birth, it doesn't physically happen to you, but you have to be intimately involved, and that's just the beginning, right? And we've had far harder days afterwards, just because we've had so much support, we had so many lessons, we had people really focused, and Abby was really focused on the birth, and certainly we had some idea of what to expect, but you're on your own with the kid afterwards. When you have a child in a hospital, there's going to be people around you supporting you. No one's going to be there at 2 a.m. The baby's screaming, you don't know why. And that's where the relationship that you've managed to build during the pregnancy will really be important, because someone's got to stay calm. And it's usually the person that's had slightly more sleep than the other is the one that's going to be the more calm, and we've taken that in turns on occasions. Obviously, Abby's doing the bulk of the heavy lifting because of the feeding. But you really build a relationship, I think, when focusing on the actual birth, that is going to be really, really important afterwards. And for whoever's not having the baby, the person doing my role, I think getting involved earlier and understanding more and understanding the strengths and weaknesses of the couple, and working on those in the same way that Abby worked on her fears, is, I think, going to make those first few weeks, and we're only week 3, so we still have no idea what we're doing. But we've got a good sense of humour. Abby, I've tried to get her to get some sleep, and we're both just looking after each other and the baby at the same time. So that's been a fantastic experience, and obviously from watching Abby go through that, huge amount of additional respect for not just the process, but for Abby's work ethic. There was no stone that she left unturned, and she's been quite emphatic about doing the work. But she was fully committed. Diet, eating well, sleeping well, all of the sort of little peripheral things that can slip off the table. She was just fantastic. So huge respect was created by being involved. And that if you're not involved and you don't commit and you don't really try, then you miss out on those things, and it's really been of benefit now, and that's what we're enjoying, I think. It's just being, as a team, in the trenches with a newborn, figuring it out, because it doesn't get easier at all. In fact, it gets harder for the man, because now you've got a functional role to play. So that would be my advice for the person not giving birth, is get involved early and work on the relationship, because that's what's really going to be important after the birth. Because as Abby said, she'd have more than one birth if it meant that she didn't have to put up with the pain after. So there's a lot of work that both people can do, and I think everybody benefits, especially now benefits from where we've been able to get to. But it's still not easy. And no one has ever said it was, and we'll keep figuring it out as we.
Again, I sound like so repetitive, but again, I was so grateful that during all this process I've been having a woman aside me, and a woman that is my best friend, the godmother of my child, and I get emotional. It's just 3 weeks, so
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
So my short and sweet advice is, as the non-birth giver, stay calm.
Yeah, but I think you need to have someone in your side that supports you, a team that support you during the birth, and then that supports you during the lactation process, because you don't know what you are doing. So to have a strong woman on your side, or women, that can give you some consultancy about what you are doing, I think is very, very important. If I needed to do it again and again, I will choose again to have a doula, to have a lactation consultant that can guide us to go through these difficult weeks. I mean, challenging, not difficult, but challenging. I think that is super, super important. And because, I mean, now Martin is a midwife almost. He knows how to express my boob, how to calm me down.
I'm very hands-on with the boobs.
Yeah. So it's, someone, for me, it's with no hesitation to have a woman that guides you through it. And it's not precisely your mom, it needs to be a professional with that is, again, with no judgment, totally neutral, teaching you techniques, how to handle your baby, how to handle yourself. Because during lactation, of course, you have as well all the hormones coming on. And sometimes you just need a good cry with someone. So it's, I think for me that is important bit. Yeah.
For me, I think the we call it postpartum, don't we? We're in the pros. Postpartum. For me, it's just been about being calm and trusting in evolution, and knowing that anything that we're experiencing has been experienced by everybody. We've got a healthy baby, we've got a healthy mother. The rest of it is up to us. And if we're not staying calm and just managing the problems and solving them as they come, then, well, that's all you can do. You know, your problems will pop up and you just solve them and you move on to the next one. And it's keep a sense of humour and you just get into up to your elbows in it. That's the only way to get through it.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. You know, there's even at this early stage, there's moments, despite it being sort of like a blob of mashed potatoes, there are moments that you can just really enjoy. Between as a father and my daughter and as a husband watching Abby and Eva together, there's a lot of joy to come from it, just even at the earliest stages, and it only gets better. So I'm told, fingers crossed.